There you go. I do believe we're live. So, I'll say indeed. And greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. What a dear pleasure it is to have you here again on another conscious evolution, on another opportunity for us to determine our sense of purpose. My sense of purpose is directly interlinked to conscious evolution, as you friends know by now. I cannot separate myself from that purpose. I must consciously evolve. I must. I cannot stop. Not for anything, not for reward, not for threat, not for pain, not for suffering. Um, okay, there we go, I won. My computer was not computering the way I wanted it to. Yeah, a recent study came out. It's pretty new. And it essentially determined, and these are one of those things that's a little bit, uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Up in the air, who knows kind of thing. However, if you'd like take 5 seconds to think about it, it makes pretty sense, you know? And it goes that people that have a sense of purpose have a 30% lower chance of developing dementia. Isn't that interesting? Not interesting that people develop dementia, but the fact that they're more likely to if they don't have a sense of purpose, right? And I had a grandma who passed away from Alzheimer's, you know? So I have been very, let's call the kettle black and say obsessed. I've been very obsessed with trying to prevent that in myself, all right? Because unfortunately, these things do carry over in genetics. And developing Alzheimer's one day sounds like the worst case scenario for my life. Hey, Rodwell, it's nice having you here, friend. Hi to you too. So I've been trying in so many ways to apply all of the different wisdoms that the science basically extracts to ensure that I don't get that, right? One of them has been some of the plant medicines we have available to us. One of them has been exercise. One of them has been proper diet and limiting my sugar intake. And now, most recently, a new study came out that determined a sense of purpose. A sense of purpose will reduce by 30% your likelihood of developing dementia. And I read that article and it just hits me that it makes so much sense that if your brain feels like it's not needed, all right, what is it? What am I here for? What's my purpose? I don't have a purpose. Of course, it's going to start eating itself, right? It's literally going to disintegrate into nothingness because that's what you keep telling it. It's worth nothing. And that's not true, of course, right? Not for any single one of us is that true. But unfortunately, we live in a society where if you're not earning wallops of cash or you don't have people singing your praises day in, day out, then you believe you don't have a sense of purpose, right? And there is this sense of dismay that is slowly creeping into the human spirit, especially as we're entering the age of AI and robotics. What are you yapping about? The alchemist. I do like the word alchemist. I actually have a friend that's called Eric the Alchemist. He likes to teach, people of the world wisdom with the intent of preparing people to be wealthy, right? He believes that we need more conscious millionaires in the world, and that's like his purpose, right? He teaches people how to be conscious millionaires. And you being an alchemist as well makes me happy. Thank you for joining us, friend. I am, as you say, yapping about a sense of purpose, right? I'm yapping about a sense of purpose. I have an extreme amount of purpose in my spirit, right? To the point of it being obsession, to be completely honest. To the point of it being abrasive, right? Like I'll fight. I will kick down the doors of the metaphorical universe to get to the other side of what it is I believe my purpose is, which is this moment. Me yapping in this moment right now. You ordering a yappy meal. Cool. I'm here for it. Bless. So yeah, and then I'm like kind of like sharing the fact that we now like recently had a study that proved, determined, I think is a better use of word, determined that people that have a sense of purpose have a 30% lower chance of developing dementia, right? So not only is it important for us to have a sense of purpose, but it will literally be good for your longevity, right? It will extend your lifespan, or we should call it your health span, right? The amount of time that you're here for, none of us want to live to 150 if it means the last 70 years of our lives we're going to be on machines breathing us for us, right? Nobody wants that. So what we look for is health span. We want to be able-bodied. We want to be capable of having conversations, making connections with friends for as long as possible. And having a sense of purpose is going to be a direct lever in that process, right, in our lives. And it's one of those things that's very difficult, and I was just starting the point when you asked The Alchemist. We live in a society where the sense of purpose is slowly eroding, right? More and more of the things that used to give us purpose is being taken away from us, right? And at no fault of our own. We as human beings can be faulty, right? For instance, I want to say for some reason, I did it for purpose. I, for purpose, decided that I will be showing up in this space every single day indefinitely. Like that. But it found a sense of purpose in showing up for a community. It found a sense of purpose in making these connections. And as a result, I am dedicating my literal life, right? I am eating food. I am drinking water. Talk about. I am sleeping in order to continue being so I can do this, so I can kind of like fulfill my purpose on this planet. And in the same way, there are a bunch of things in this world that need to be done every day, right? And not everybody is willing to sacrifice their own lives in the pursuit of that purpose. And as a result, we build machines that can purpose for us, right? We build a machine with a purpose. Your purpose is to bag this produce, right? And then that machine purposes. It bags whatever produce is, right? That's its purpose, and it will do that day in, day out. I want to say without fail, but these things fail as well if they're not properly maintained, right? And in that way, many people who used to bag things, who could find a sense of purpose in the bagging of something, has lost that sense of purpose. However, we used to be assigned purposes back in the day, right? You went to a factory, applying for a job, and then there was a bagging job available. And then you got put, your purpose now, person, is to bag produce, right? And then you could wake up in the morning and you could know where you're going. Oh, I'm going to factory. And you could know what you're going to do. I'm going to bag thing, right? And then you show up and you bag thing. And you could, if you were so inclined, you could imagine that I am doing a service. I am facilitating this produce being put in this bag, and these produce are going to feed someone out there in the world. And you can find a sense of life satisfaction from that. However, as these and I'm trying to almost make it as simple as possible, reductionist, if you will. That's happening for everything, literally everything. Anything you can imagine that human beings have been doing, robots will do better really soon, all right? Just around the corner. And in that way, it's going to be up to us to find a new sense of purpose. And I believe that new sense of purpose is going to have to be connection, right? This ability for us as human beings to communicate with each other and to build something together. If we have super sophisticated machines, if we have super intelligences that are leverages for our human minds to access, what are we going to build with it? Snoopy G, you lost your mind? And then I found it again, right here and in this moment. Snoopy G, You can't lose what you've never had, can you? Do you have your mind? Show me. Show me where your mind is. Yeah, that's what I thought. I almost said something derogatory. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm gonna calm myself down. Much love, brother bear. Kira Burb. Off to bed, but I've been lurking and I will be. I love you, dear friend. Sleep well. Rest for me. It's nice to have you here. Melt and stream enterers. Hey, Nancy. It's nice having you here with me. Sending you blessings. A sense of purpose has been a struggle for me over the past 10 or so years, Connor says. I have decided having a cacti nursery is my start for now. Semi successful, even outdoors in Wisconsin. Pachanoe from seed. I don't know the Pachanoe cactus, but I'm super stoked for you, bro. Growing freaking cactuses from seed. I've never been able to do that. I should preface that I've never had seeds to try, but still, I've noticed that you can grow little cactuses from seeds, and they look so cute when they actually start. The most adorable things ever. Pacha Pachamoni cactus, Pachamama cactus. Oh yeah, that's cool, bro. Connor, you want to see something? I think you're gonna get a kick out of this, bro. Let me show you. Let me show you something. I hope I have Wi-Fi range there. I should. I think I should. Good for you, Connor. I'm happy that you find purpose. You deserve that too, man. Much love. Hi, hey King Fatas. Yeah, Connor. Look at her. Oh yeah. And look, I got a new baby. Look at that little baby coming into the world. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got one there, and you can probably see there's one there, and then there's like another nub there as well. Those are three different species. Gifts. Gift from Tinas. Gift from Yevon. Gift from Sharon. She gave me her house for a weekend. He gave me a nub that they had harvested. Tinas cut me off this pup. I only had that much of it. And then I propagated it. And then I got another one. And now I get another one that's coming into the world as well. You are one of the people to inspire me to start. When you got your cuttings, bro. And now you got to see how my cuttings have progressed as well. I have taken good care of them. I have brought them with me. It really is so like soul satisfying to take care of things, you know, even if it's something as simple as a cactus. You can find purpose, bro. I'm so happy that you are. What's today's business? Today's business is purpose, King Fatas. We are talking about purpose, right? I have found purpose in so many things in life. I have found purpose in teaching yoga. I am a certified yoga teacher. I have found purpose in showing up for a community. I do these live streams and we have conscious, evolving conversations. I have found purpose in making art and sharing my work with those in the world. I've not met, I wanted to say I've not met a single person that didn't like my art, but that's not true, unfortunately. I showed my art to my own family members and I was like, "Is my kunst." And they looked at my art and they go like, "You call that kunst? You call that art?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, right. That is, I think so." Like that did kind of mess with me. But all of the other people, all of the normal people, the people that don't know me for some reason love me. So yeah, Finding purpose in this world is not hard. You know, when you don't have to narrow in on only one thing if you're going to find purpose as well. There's many good things to do. Okay, cool. Bless you. Connor saying, okay, good, good. Work. So good. Good work nurturing those little spirits. All right. And like seeing that new pup, oh, like as soon as I spotted that new pup bursting out from the side, I was like, wow. You know, like excited like a baby was born in the world, you know. And now every day, literally every single day, I go and look. I'm like, how much did you grow? And it grows so slowly, so very slowly. But I love it. Every day I can notice a little bit of a difference. I have other plants as well that I'm growing. I find deep sense of purpose in growing plants too. I find a deep sense of purpose in loving my beloved, right? Jovan. I don't know if she's here right now, but I find so much purpose in loving her as well, right? Like it fills my spirit with joy to wake up in the morning and see her messages to me, to know that she's sleeping, and then I get to send her messages for when she wakes up as well. I find so much purpose in what's coming this weekend. I'm going to go to a festival. I find purpose in going to festivals. I love it. I wish I had more finances in order to do that more frequently, all right? Like, if I had to pay for everything that this weekend would involve, it would cost me minimum 100 US dollars, right? A minimum of 100 US dollars to go on this weekend. And in that way, right, even if I could, I would only be able to go to maximum 3 festivals a month, all right? So maybe one every weekend. And then I would not be eating food for the rest of the week, all right? And in that way, I realized that even though I find deep sense of purpose in doing that, it's not something that I can do all the time. And I also realized that even if I could, I'd probably lose some sense of purpose in doing so. Maybe I'm capping. Maybe I don't know if that's true, because I've been doing the other things that I do every single day relentlessly, and I don't feel any less purpose in doing them. In fact, I think that's the paradox of finding something that really stimulates your heart with purpose. It only gains. You only get more purpose. How do you make money? I have 4 different sources of income right now. 5. But technically, this one is not, I'm not taking the money, but it is a source of income. This one is Zora. Let me show you, Tim. And thank you for asking. Thank you for caring, friend. I am a creator on a platform called Zora. It is loading. I have really bad internet, so you'll have to like be really patient with me while I don't lose my mind. See if I can open my profile. There we go. So I'm a creator on Zora. Here's my profile. And then I make these cutout flowers, right? And they basically get tokenized and turn into the equivalent of NFTs. And then people have the ability to purchase tokens of my work. And then, hey, there is Jovan. I love you. And then that basically contributes what's called liquidity to my portfolio. And then if I so wanted to, I could potentially take some of that liquidity for myself. However, because I see my Zora as almost like a community fund, everybody that invests in me, I want their investments to grow, right? Because I believe very strongly in us all going up together. The traditional social media platforms as we've had them only benefits the person creating the work, right? Like for instance, maybe you like the creator and you thought, oh, I'm gonna send this creator X amount of money. And then 5 years pass and you've been sending that creator $5 every month or whatever, right? And then it turns out they're a raging racist, right? And like suddenly it comes out that that's how they've been. Then you're gonna feel like maybe one or two ways, right? extreme dismay that you have been supporting a person as such, and you've been like almost like giving them the money to continue their hateful rhetoric. Uh, and that could be like a sense of like, oh, where with the Zora platform, you can potentially take that liquidity back if they're not so much of a raging asshole that they take your liquidity alongside it, right? And then the other side of it is when you give your money in the traditional internet sense, right, to a creator, that money disappears, right? I get to do with that money whatever I want to. Some people will spend their money on blackjack and hookers, as they say, all right? And like, I mean, you do you with your money. However, I don't really think that's benefiting society, all right? And I'm all about making sure the world becomes a better place. So in that way, if I continue to create value on that platform, every single person that adds value to me has their value rising in step with mine, right? So that's like one of the sources. Then I create on Patreon. That's actually how I started with my art. I post something every day. I add a little piece of poetry. Hey Sam, it's nice having you here. And then people, if they so wish, they can support me. Then I have, of course, the YouTube. I am monetized. I hit my 4,000 hours of watch time and 1,000 subs, I think in 2022, end of 2022, I believe. We hit our 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subs. So I got monetized. So I get like some income. I have like $50 on the way. It's only arriving the 21st of October because of course it does. The legacy systems suck ass. But I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I'm grateful legacy systems too. And then I have that's three of them, right? Zora, Patreon, YouTube. Then I have my business. I did start a business, and that was bringing in some revenue. And then I am a certified yoga teacher as well, where I teach for Encinitas Soul of Yoga online at this point. And that's technically my biggest income source at this point in my life. So little by little, I am creating these little windows into the liquidity of the world, if you will, right? Please see me, universe. Have some of that infinite sloshing wealth, you know, like I would just like to like wet my tongue a little bit. You know what I mean? Sam, how's the sis? How's the fam? It's nice having you here. Wow, that's good stuff. Thank you, Tim. I'm happy that you're still here to hear all of that. I still have a lot that I want to do. I'm probably going to be like doing a bunch of deliveries as well next year. And I'm also selling some of my art, right? Like I should preface that as well. I have made some income actually selling physical pieces of my art. There, for example, there's one of Dam's. There's not one of mine. There's another one of mine. Never go full lefty. I'll have you know, I am a libertarian. And I do not align myself with left or right in that way. I find myself firmly centered. Yes. I am smack dab in the middle. All right. And I can see the on this side, and I can see the on this side, and I can just go, please, can we just please? Ah, GBs. The MAGA hat wearing, gun wielding guy with the blue haired lady, right? Isn't that kind of wholesome? Huh? Little bit wholesome. Can we stop being incels? Please. You say physical art. Do you sell spiritually art? I mean, like most of my art is digital, Hobie. I know the joke you're going with, but let me show you. Let me show you this. All right. Look at this. Right, here's my catalog. I have created one piece a day. Yes, that kind of one piece. One piece a day for the last 1,353 days, right? And most of the money I've made, if you will, have been on Patreon. So technically, I sold my art digitally, all right? No physical stuff happened. Even the money wasn't physical, right? Nobody put a dollar note in my hand. And then I took these works of art and I transformed them even more. And then I sent them to a printer man. And then printer man had sophisticated printer that deposits layer by layer. First sticky layer, then base layer, then color layer, then resin layer. And then suddenly I had these, all right? I don't know if you can see, but they even have like some like thickum texture to them, all right? You can like feel the ridges of that. It feels nice, all right? And that's now physics. Physical, I can touch it with my finger. And I have been able to sell those physical works of art for physical pieces of paper. And then I proceeded to spend those pieces of paper on coffee. I did. I bought some coffee with my flowers. It was nice. Thank you for your patience and well detailed response. Thank you. I'm not angry at you for what it's worth. This is just how I am sometimes. You know, I lay it on thick. I I like being dramatic. You know, drama kind of like is one of those things that I'm here for as well. My mom has been calling me a drama queen literally since I was a 5-year-old. Good morning, Dutchka. Ek is niet Dutch nie. Ek is niet Dutch. Ek is Afrikaans. Moos. Moos, like Afrikaans. Looks like nice weather there. It is relatively nice. It's very windy. And the sun is slowly but surely blasting my eyeballs harder and harder. So I'm going to keep moving myself a little bit at a time. But it's not deadly hot. Or at least it's cooling down because we are reaching a little bit more end of day temperatures. There we go. Where are you, Banana Fama? Where in the world are you? I live in South Africa. I live in South Africa. I've been born and raised in South Africa. I moved to China once in my life. Australia, nice. We have a few Australian friends. Big Fella. Big Fella is actually one of my Australian supporters. One of my biggest Australian supporters. Yeah. Suddenly I'm thinking about him. What a dude. Australian people are awesome. Thank you, Banana Fama, for joining us too. Australia, Queensland. Cheers, Big Fella. Do you know Big Fella? Suddenly I'm wondering. Queensland has bananas. Hey, PMT is here too. Bless you, friend. That's good stuff. I think she's still pregnant. Mom hasn't been posting pictures of any new babies yet. Yeah, that sounds very loaded, right? I only got like a sliver of context and I can already tell. There's a lot more to be discovered. I'm sorry, dear Sam, that it's hard to connect. But I understand. Me and my youngest brother, have like a non-existent relationship too. It was his birthday recently, and I sent him a birthday message. He wouldn't even reply. All right. He moved out of my mom's flat recently, and he refuses to tell any of our family members where he lives even. Right? It's interesting how some people really do become adamant on separation. Right? Doesn't serve us though. Nah, I don't, but cheers, big fella. Yeah. He's another Australian man's. Like, he's almost like the most recent Australian friend. Him and Boyana, too. Boyana is another one of the Australian friends that joins in this space, too. You sell art spiritually. You're still cracking me up with that message, yes. I mean, technically we do, right? I do actually believe you can sell art spiritually as well. But that's, again, me leaning into my hippie woo-woo side. And I'm like, yeah, the universe is interconnected and there is no separation, and spirit sees all. And in that way, me making art is me selling my life, right? Literally, I'm selling seconds, hours of my life in order to make art for the spirit, all right? You like my scarf? Thank you. It was a gift from a brother called Ryan. That hole was made by my sweet late doggy Pippi. Getting to remember her kindly. Uh, Came all the way from America to adorn me. Paint as a picture. Paint as a picture. That's it. Yeah, I'm a little bit confused. That's interesting about your brother. Yeah. Me and my younger brother, Rudo, he just like 2 weekends ago asked me to be one of his best men at his wedding. All right. And he bought me a little leather bag with my name engraved on it. And he bought me a leather tie so that I have a matching tie with the rest of the best men. And he bought me a glass that we're going to be putting drinks in and taking photographs with. And he asked me to do one of the speeches, you know, the Heilbrona, do one of the speeches for for his wedding, right? So there definitely is a dichotomy where one brother loves me enough to want me to be one of his best men, other brother hates me enough to not want to talk to me at all, right? And I get to hold both. And I get to like, and it's weird because like with this brother, I try like 5 times harder to appease, to, you know, beg for forgiveness, if you will, with the brother that hates me. And I don't have to try almost at all with this brother, and he loves me. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why. I can't imagine that my brother is like, he tries too hard. I hate him because he tries so hard. Oh, love is true. Bruh, isn't in mom's flat anymore? When did this happen? Like last Monday. Not this Monday that passed, last Monday show. So it's a pretty new development, all right? And literally doesn't tell snake behind me where I like snakes. I weirdly enough, green snide. There actually once was a snake that like slivered in my field of vision, and then I ran to catch it, and then by the time I got to it, it was already gone. All right, and it peeved me for a long time. Whoa, what's this channel about? Stellum Strum Abbey, I'm pretty sure you were here before, and I'm pretty sure you asked that question, and I'm pretty sure we answered you. But I'll say it again because I like it, right? This channel is about conscious evolution. And you might be like, Melt, what's conscious evolution? And I go, conscious evolution is the idea that most of the evolution that we as a species have gone through has already happened, right? There's literally billions of years right here in your cellular intelligence, right? So if that takes billions of years and we live relatively finite lives, 80, 100-year lifetimes, then we cannot hope to physically. As a result, we have to show up as minds every single day, and we have to explore what the world is trying to teach. And we have to integrate these lessons, and if we can do so mindfully, we will consciously evolve. We'll become more kind, we'll become more mindful, we'll become more filled with purpose, we'll become more capable of actually making a difference. And that is my purpose. That's why I'm here. That's why I do this stream. Did ya? I don't remember. I probably forgot, but thanks for letting me know. I remember your username, but I'm happy to tell you again. There you go. Maybe this time I even said it better. Maybe this time you'll remember extra. Very interesting. Thank you, Jan. It's nice having you here too, friend. I don't know if you've been here before. I think I would have remembered your little owl. Love you. It's nice having you here too. So yeah, pretty new development, Joe. Defno not forgetting this time. Do subscribe. I do these streams every single day. Literally. Hey Dexter. Yo, how's it going? No, first time? Welcome. It's nice having you here. Yeah, liked and sub, gang, gang. I do one of these every single day. We have been doing one every day for the last 1,720 days. Is that the right number? Let me check my stats. Yes. 1,720 consecutive days. Showing up. Showing up for a sense of purpose, right? Realizing that you, dear friend, are something purposeful. That every single time I show up in this space, I am given the opportunity to connect with people. That's some mad consistency. I have gone crazy, and then I have gone sane, and I've gone crazy again, and I've gone sane again. And I have found stability in that ebb and flow to the point where I can realize that it's all going to be okay. I used to be extra wired, with how serious I take this whole process and how fast I believed I was supposed to grow and how much reach I'm supposed to have by now and how much potential capital I'm supposed to have gathered. Joy Vive and Papa Joe and Cyclone and Stefan and Shelly. And is that all? Yeah. You got, what is that, like four? 4 out of 5 of the friends we know. I'm happy that Cyclone got one too. I'm super happy Shelly got one. I'm guessing that she's been here tuning in, maybe just like lurking in the background. JP joining too. Hey JP, it's nice having you here, friend. How are you doing? How's life treating you, friends? I want you friends to tell me, right? Maybe we can do like a little bit of a prompt. Tell me what brings you purpose, right? I would like to see the diversity of answers. Doing good, brother. How are you? I'm feeling purposeful. I'm feeling hopeful. I have a weekend coming up where I'll be helping build the festival. I'm going to be helping the joint. There, I got my gift. There, Joy Vives as well. Hey, Joy. I'm happy. I'm thinking you're talking about me too. Joy Vive just recently became one of my Zora whales, right? I don't know if that term translates if you're not if you're not in the crypto space. I can feel Joy Vive like, what the fuck did you just call me? So in the crypto space, Joy, a whale is essentially someone who holds like a very large stake in one or another crypto project, right? So you have now become, I think, one of my top tens. I think you're number 5. You're number 5 on my list, right? So if I build my wealth up to become worth multiple millions of dollars, then you'll have a fifth, not a fifth. You'll be fifth in line, to have access to those millions as well. And alongside that, I now have the ability to give people gifts of Patreon, essentially, right? So instead of you having to pay the months, that it would cost for you to have a certain membership, I can just issue that membership for a certain amount of months, and then I can send you a link, and then you can redeem that gift. I don't know if that's what you're talking about as well. I'm happy that Joe gave us some memberships too. Oh, GVs. I'm feeling I'm feeling hopeful. And then this weekend that's coming up, I will be helping the join. I'll be helping the art gallery. I'll be putting up some of my own works of art. I'll be displaying some of my stickers. And then I'll be giving a workshop on the Sunday where I'll be teaching people about the rising creator economy and how it differs from the way that we create by posting on Facebook or Instagram, for example. Right? When you post on Instagram, I did. I posted one of my flowers on Instagram. I gained a total of 75 views, right? 75 people saw my art. And that's it, right? After that, it's like now it's buried in the algorithm, right? There's now nothing more coming of that. Where with Zora, when you post on that platform, it takes that flower and then it tokenizes it, right? It breaks that flower into a billion pieces. I think it's a billion. Yeah, into a billion pieces. And then, no matter how much money you have, the minimum buy-in is like 20 cents, right? If you have 20 cents, you can buy some of those tokens, right? And then you can hold a literal stake in my art. You can have like some percentage of ownership. And in that way, you can potentially benefit, right? The way that I see my art is that they're going to become more valuable as I continue to build my brand. And some people will like a specific piece enough where they're going to want it inside their homes. And then as soon as they get it, right, I'll be able to take, and this is my plan for my project, I'll take 10% of the value they pay me for my art and I'll put it in that flowers token and then I'll send them that 10% of value back. And that way they get to keep some of the liquidity they just gave me for their work of art and they'll have on-chain proof that they are in fact the owner of the original MeltMore on their wall. I'll be able to add like a little QR code at the bottom of it. So when someone walks in and goes, wow, what is that? And then I can like scan the QR code and then they can, and then it opens up on the internet portal exactly where that little work of art has been tokenized, right? I find that pretty cool. I am so stoked to teach people about how this stuff works. I do believe that we're at the precipice. That's a good idea. Thank you, Jen. I think so too. It is an idea that I came up with myself. I haven't seen anybody else do it that way, right? Because again, like the art world as it is right now, I would love, of course, to be one of those artists, like a Pollock, right, that can sell my squiggles, if you will, for multiple millions of US dollars. But as soon as someone buys those multiple million US dollars worth of art, uh, like where does the value go, right? Does the value go straight into Pollock's bank account? I guess so. And then what does he do with it? Buy himself new Ferrari? I don't know, right? And in that way, you can't. Where with the on-chain economy, you can. You can see whether or not that dude is going to take your money and buy Ferrari with it, right? I don't want a Ferrari. Ferraris are, I don't know if I want to piss people off. Ferraris are bad cars. They're nice engines, really good engines, bad cars. Like if you crash a Ferrari, you're literally expected to just trash it. It's better for you to trash it. Like they literally weld those things together with like tack welds. I don't know why I'm like dogging on Ferraris right now. I'm sorry, Ferrari. Yeah, I have this ambition that if I ever buy myself a vehicle, I'm going to drive it until its wheels fall off. Ferraris are, wait, stop. You'll draw the car bros in. Yeah, I think the car bros, the ones that know, will agree with me, right? Even the people that sell the Ferraris, they go, I'll give you the engine, I'll sell you the engine, the rest is free. And in that, you can like, oh, bet, checks out. We're gonna try and save as much money as possible. Yeah, I'm now a little bit more in the shadow again, so the sun is not hitting me as directly. I'm still getting hit by rays, but not as many of them at least. All right, getting back to it, not forgetting my picture. Nan Fran. All right, I'm mostly caught up. What art are you going to display? Workshop 2, hecka dope. Yeah, so last year, literally just before the Earth dawns, right? No, there is. I'm butchering this. Last year, during Earth Dawns, for the first time, I actually had physical works of art to sell. And I did, right? Technically, my art is the only art that sold that weekend. I'll preface that by saying my art was the only art that was affordable. So, market conditions, right? You could like acquire one of my pieces of art for $1, where all of the others were like $50 plus, right? So in that way, you could get 50 times my work for one of any of the other pieces. So I'm the only one that sold art that weekend. And it gave me this sense of like, again, purpose of like, oh wow, people do in fact want my art. They'll actually acquire my work if I give them the opportunity to. And then Jovan literally arrived that Wednesday. The festival happened the weekend, and then that Wednesday, Jovan arrived, and she brought with her a tube. And in that tube was a bunch of my art as prints. And then just recently, Joyveed, I mean, you saw it. You saw it on chain. It is on Zora. Just recently, I printed, or what's the word? Backed? Laminated? No, framed. But it's not exactly a frame. It's made of cardboard. I cardboard framed. My brain can accept that. I cardboard framed some of my pieces. Right? So these pieces will be sold. I asked my mother to buy me a white marker so I can write my name down there. And then I think I'm going to print out some QR codes to put at the back of those flowers. And then I'm going to turn, can I? Copy address, view in Explorer, view in deck screener. I can. There we go. Yeah, so I can copy this link, and then I'm going to take that link, and I'm going to put it in a QR code generator, and then I'm going to generate that QR code, and then I'm going to print it out, and I'm going to put that QR code at the back of my art. And then I'm going to display those works as well. And in that way, people will have an on-chain reference for the person they bought that work from, right? And they'll get to like have like some extra stick to swing, to say it in a derogatory way, of like what that work is actually worth. All right. Technically, the market value of that work of art is 442 US dollars. However, I'm going to be selling them for 50 bucks a pop, right? So whoever buys them is going to get an absolute steal. Instantaneously. Instantaneous discount. Wow. So much cheap. So much money saved. Wow. I have some crypto knowledge. I will check out Zora, spelled correctly. That's it. Check it out, Connor. You'd like it, bro. I love it. I'm also a crypto oak. I've been very fascinated by that world for a very long time, and I like this platform. It's gotten better in many ways. Like when I just joined, they had like a real problem with like, to say it in so many words, like lewd content, where there were so many women essentially, and I don't even know if most of them were actual women. They were probably just guys posting photos of women stealing money from other guys. All right, and then they cracked down on that stuff, thank goodness, and it feels like they're trying to make it better every single day, right? I don't know if you noticed, Joe, but they fixed the comments. They fixed the comments. Finally, you've been begging for that. They fixed it. Slowly but surely, it's getting better. It's still very new. The token of the actual platform launched, I believe, in April. So it's only been like in the zeitgeist of the minds for about like a couple of months. I was very lucky to start creating on that platform early. And as a result, my portfolio is very valuable, all right? Because your token is lockstep with the actual platform token. And like I like the token value was like down here on the ground, and then I started creating, and literally, I'm not even joking, like 3 days after I started creating on the platform, it like tripled in value, and then a week later, it like 10x in value again. And alongside that, I went up for the ride, having my face melt on the way up. It came down a little bit again because that's to be expected. When something 14x's in like a month, people are going to take profit that have been in the platform for a lot longer. But it came down to like having 7x'd from where I was, all right? I think the lowest it ever went was like 6x. And now it's back up to like 7.5x. And I'm looking forward to it again going parabolic. I imagine it's still gonna like at least 15x from here on. I'm expecting by 2030 it's gonna be like $1 a token. Right. So I'm building, bro. Like it's another way to build on chain, essentially. They're making it easy for the average person to build a brand, right? And on that platform, it's all about trust. And if you cannot be trusted, you won't get any capital, right? It's not a like a sugar daddy platform, not at all. Some people think it is, right? Some people want to use it as like, oh yeah, please, I want to be sugar baby, please. Where no, no, that's not what it's for. This is for building something. Ferraris are way. We are moving locations. I'm doing that. I've had my car for 17 years. I refuse to get another until it goes completely crash gray. I don't know if you've left. I hope you haven't, because I want to like almost iterate and echo with you. I'm happy that you're doing that, friend. Yeah. I've never been able to afford a car for myself, right? And when I do get myself one, it has to be, right? That's almost non-negotiable. Electric. It has to be an electric car. And like there's like two wolves in me. One wolf is like, I'm gonna buy myself a secondhand electric car in America, right? Maybe like one of the old EV3s. They're like $9,000, which is still a lot of money, don't get me wrong, but it's $9,000 and not $90,000, right? And then the other wolf in me is like, buy yourself a new EV that have all of the sophisticated self-driving features, and then drive that one until it explodes, or not explodes until the wheels fall off, right? But yeah, those are the two wolves. Like the wolf that wants to buy the second-hand one is going to want a new one, right? And I feel like that's kind of defeating the purpose. We'll see. We'll see. I'll show up. Where does the electric unicycle play into this? So I drive my EV wherever I want to go, and then as soon as I reach a point where I'm like, there's no more road accessible to my vehicle, then I take my unicycle out of the back of my car, and then I put it on the ground, and then I get on the unicycle, and then I keep venturing, all right, Nimbus Cloud style, into the woods, like that, like that, Doug, that. That's how it factors in. They're perfect. Kissy, kissy. Right? Then the coolest part as well is that with the electric vehicles, they have plugs. So I could even charge my EUC in my car while driving. Of course, it's going to take some of my range, but flying Nimbus, yeah. Like all of the people, Connor, that actually are like in the EUC community, is they're like, that's the closest thing you're going to get to being on a flying Nimbus. Right? That's the closest thing you'll get. And like just hearing those words, how can you not be convinced? Some of the friends are like, Melt, we don't know what flying Nimbus is. Flying Nimbus is a mode of transportation in the Dragon Ball Z universe. It's essentially like a little cloud that they stand on and then they fly forward. All right, that's what it is. You're still technically on the ground, unfortunately, for now. We haven't figured out hover tech just yet, but golly, as soon as we do, I'm gonna get myself hover EUC to deploy unicycle. Yeah, exactly, bro. Exactly. Gotta say, that kind of sells me on it. Connor is one of us. Nice. Nice. Good, Connor. I am convincing. I am Mr. Salesman, man. I will. I'll sell cool stuff, bro. Anything that I can get behind, right? I have no problem with selling something. But if I don't want it, I am gonna have a hard time being able to sell it. So in that way, I want my own art, right? One of the pieces that I have, I'm not selling. I'll display it, but it's mine. Nobody can get it, right? You could offer me $1 trillion. Suddenly a part of me was like, oh yeah? Oh yeah? Fine. $1 trillion might convince me. 999 999 billion. No can do. I'm sorry. Keep your $999 billion. I'm not budging for less than a trillion. Oh, jeebies. Yeah. But seriously though, I'm keeping this one. I'll show you. This is the one I'm keeping. Hmm. Again, I don't know because this photo is not that good. I'll admit. I had to take it myself. Let's see how long it's gonna take to load. It's thinking about it. If melts mine, then I cannot come up with another doll. I mean, you're gonna have to gooy a whole other billion. A billion is a lot of money, bro. Maybe you have the 999, but that extra billy is too hard to match. Oh, that one is mine, right? And in person, especially if you are open-minded, it literally has these striations, right, of like pixels being stretched that create this like iterative effect. I wonder if I can show you the actual piece. I should have it. I'll go to 4. Mm. Let's see how long it takes me to find it. Yeah, I found it. Didn't take me long. There it is. What have you done? There it is. This is the one. And like this is what I'm talking about, right? Those little striations. And like the way it's printed when you're in a very like open-minded state, it's like your brain tries to fill in the blanks of like what's going on there. How is it doing that? Yeah. Thank you, Jen, for the love. Seeing heart eyes for my art makes me happy every time. So much happy. I'm flying out of Chicago next week, Wednesday. Bro, maybe I can do a drive-by high five. Joe driving to work, just popped in to say hi. Are you flying into O'Hare or Midway? How long are you staying? Where are you staying? Message me if you don't feel like doxing yourself. I noticed they fixed the comments. I sent them a screen recording of it. Nice. They must have been aware. Look at you, Joe. Us nudging. A little bit of nudge, nudge. Hey, that's Christian. Why is Christian sending me messages? Yo, homie, you heading through this weekend? What's the planning on the plans? You see. Yeah. Oh, where bro Bino? I am coming through ideally Thursday morning. At least that's the plan for me. Thursday morning, I'll be driving through to Groblersdal. I'll take a few photographs that I need for my paperwork stuff. Then I'll head through to your place. I haven't asked properly, but I assume that it won't be a problem if you'd be willing to like spare me your tent. I can sleep in the car as well at the very least, so it won't be a train smash if I can't. Then I'm gonna go through the festival. I'm going to set up my tent. I'm going to help build as much as I can with the gallery. I'm gonna be helping some other friends as well. Tines, the guys from the joint are going to also be there, so I'm gonna be helping them a little bit. And then I can sleep there, but ideally I come back through to your place, sleep there that night, and then Friday I go back to the festival again. How does that sound? Yeah, making plans, planning to make things. That is beautiful, Melt. I can see a lot in it, bro. Like the actual physical piece. Like a part of me, I'll show you. No, I'm gonna calm myself down. I feel like an extra, like that giddy kid that wants to like show you their art project. I can calm down myself. You'll have to see it for yourself. All right, the in-person effect that it has is like mind melting, and I look forward to seeing people's minds get melted this weekend. All right, I'm gonna take candid photos of them. Even I'm gonna be like, yeah, yeah, have your brains melted. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing. Oh, I am super stoked. I am so giddy. Like people at festivals particularly like my art, and getting to display it at at the grace of Joe, right? Giovanna is the one that printed those for me. It feels like having her there. When Martin was here with me, and we went looking for meerkats, and then we ended up finding lions. We were very open-minded, very much so. And then we spent time like unfolding my art and just like staring into these portals. And the longer you stare, the more it opens up and the more you're like, oh, I didn't notice that part of that thing that I'm looking at. And it's like your brain does this thing. And then when you try and communicate what your brain is doing while you're looking at that art to the other person, their brain starts doing the things that your brain does. And then there's like this synchronicity that arises between the two people that look at the art. And I was like, oh, wow, there's something here. I had a whole conversation with him about the value of my work. I am so freaking stoked. I am like bubbling with giddy. Of course, you can have the 10 Pro ski. It's the least I can do to support. You're welcome no matter what. If I'm not at home, then Dad will be. Sure. Also, Dad isn't here for the weekend. Oh, so we have the place to ourselves. Cool. I'm not gonna be there that weekend though, so slight wallop. Okay, bro. That's I don't know if how am I supposed to answer that. It's like convenient. That's how am I supposed to reply? I don't know if I'm happy about it. I like Popcho. Popcho's a cool guy. Where is Popcho gonna be? Would be a bummer. Maybe I'll get to see him on the Thursday at the very least. And then I would like to come back, the next week. All right. It's gonna be the last week before Chauvin comes on Friday, and it's gonna be an extra 1 grand in fuel if I drive all the way back and all the way back again. I'll bring some meat, so we have some food to eat. Maybe I'll bring some cookies and stuff as well. I'm looking forward to chillaxing with you, bro. I think we'll have some good times that week before Jovan comes. I'm also going to go and get my medical checkup in that week as well, I trust. Cool, 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 cool. I hope I can see it in person one day. I know what you're saying about the portals, similar to music making portals and connecting people's minds. It's true, bro. Art really does transcend the human experience a little bit. It is a transcendental human experience, to be in that state of art together. Me and Giovanni even had like a conversation about it recently, how our relationship with one another has that same quality of like art-like fascination, of that soul brightening like exuberance that's like, oh, what am I looking at? Is this real? How is this? What's happening? Kobe, Kobe. It's Kobe. So, yeah, come here. Yeah, come here. Yeah. He's like, no, bro. I got things to do. He's a sweetie. Yeah, sweeter. He was feeling very bad. Man, the sun keeps finding me and blasting my eyeballs. Can you not? Please, son, like I've moved at least 3 times trying to hide from you. It's coming down on a curve, right? So it keeps curving out of the freaking shadows. I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. I'm moving. I'm fine. We have like you know what? Actually, we're gonna finish. We're gonna finish up. I'll show you yesterday's work of art, and then I'll read you a poem, and then I'll bid you a farewell. I'll bid you adieu. Here we go. The sun as I see it. I saw something about that from a movie, but I forgot the name, about the soul's amplification that happens in those moments. It is key to our conscious evolution. One of the keys, at least. There's many of them. The door has an infinite amount of locks, right? Us limiting our perception of reality so that we can continue to survive. But I don't just want to survive, I want to live. Almost dropped my stuff. What did Christian say? Just house sitting. He's usually back on Sunday. Okay, cool. Nice. He's house sitting for the peeps of the dogs. I might be assuming or projecting, but that's the first people that I think about. That sounds cool. Looking forward to chilling with you. Thank you for reaching out, bro. I'm super excited to see you, man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Love is true. Love is true. Me and Christian had a whole spat, you know, like a whole ass spat recently. And, you know, the spat continued spatting. And then I was just like, I'm gonna be your friend anyway. And spatting, spatting, spats. Shit flying to your eyes. I'm gonna be your friend anyway. I love you. And then it stopped. And then it was better. And I am happy. I am happy that things got resolved. There's little hearties up there. There's definitely some entity in that little dude. This center biddy is the one that made me choose this one. Blue scarf, red and white shirt. Very simple colors, but I think they work. Now it will be time for me to read to you the poem that went alongside it. The sunscreen is slowly migrating into my eyeballs. I can feel it. Ah, yes. We chase change. We are persistence hunters. We run a beast to stillness, follow the dust of his breath until the earth itself yields. The fire still burns in us. The chase has only changed shape. Now it's not hoof prints, but headlines. Not tracks in the dirt, but echoes in the feed. Our attention, a blade sharpened on survival turned inwards, cuts deep on shadows, fixates on leaves, rustling in digital winds. Yes, you can study the gust, its angle, its pressure, the weather that called it. You can name the reason a leaf tumbles, but you need not hunt the trembling. Step back, see how the wind comes and goes. Leaves dance, then rest. You are free to watch without chasing. Persistence is not the problem, direction is. Persist like rivers, carving valleys, not like jaws locked in fury. Persist in tenderness, in building, in repair. When outrage sparks, pause. Let the hunter in you marvel that you can stop mid-chase, that you can choose the quarry. Run, yes, but after what warms. Pursue the flame that nourishes, not the noise that consumes. We will always be able to chase, to choose. Choose leaves, choose rivers, choose the slow light of someone learning your name. Persist like a tide, persist like devotion. Persist not for the hunt, but for the becoming. Because this is the truth. What we pursue, we shape. And what we shape, we become. So let your hunt be radiant. Let your quarry be love. Run until the world itself is breathless with the beauty of your pursuit. Thank you, friends, for running it up, running it all the way up with me. I appreciate ye. You matter. You have purpose, right? Even if your purpose is to be here and like send me heart eyes, winky winky, right? When I post a flower, boom, suddenly my heart feels like its purpose has been met. You have met an extra little sliver of purpose on your side as well. There's so many things that bring us purpose into our lives, and it's up for us to choose. All right. We chase the change. We do. Change is a constant. All right. So we'll always be chasing it. That's never going to end. However, the things that we find is true, right? That line of the flame that nourishes. Pursue the flame that nourishes, not the noise that consumes. Both of those are change. Noise is change, flames are change. But one consumes and one nourishes you, right? It's the exact same thing in that way as well. There's noise and flames. Flames consume material too, but you can use it to cook yourself food. There is purpose for you. Beautiful. Love is true indeed. Carry that light. I will. I was right. House sitting for the dog people, yes. Yeah, my brain. My brain knows things before it knows how to know those things. You must see our neighbor's dog, dude. It's an adorable collie. Brown and hazel eyes. You. Sounds cute. I love you, friends. Thank you for joining me again, for sharing some of this space, for being lovable with me. I appreciate you. And I'll see you again soon. Okay? Goodbye, everybody. Love yous. Till we do it again tomorrow. Cheers.